Brian,
Hey.
are we live?
Okay, we're live.
Yeah, see, semi-professional.
We don't need Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to That Checks Out with Damon and Ted. We're just going to kick it off early today. Go ahead, Damon.
Yeah, well, we got a special guest in studio today. 28 years, right? 28 years in the radio business.
Well, actually, 41 years. I almost hate to say that because that's a long time. But 28 years at my last radio station, 41 years total.
yeah, but 28 because, and I'm not dating you either, but I was a senior in
That'd
90.
be an announcement.
Yeah, we're dating. But back in '94,
gotta
I was
go.
a senior in high school, and I remember that's when I first got turned on to country music. And before that, I was straight just rock and Motley Crue and all the hair bands and everything else. But when I got turned on to it, of course, that was a local radio station. And that's the one that came in. I could live in a tunnel underground, and that radio station came into my house. It was awesome. And so I always listened to you and stuff, too, as I grew up. You were on there in the morning, and I just got used to it, really.
Well, we always accepted default listening because there were a lot of, and especially in different of the outlying areas where you're in a business and you're in a metal building.
Yeah.
And they say CCQ is the only station that would come in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll take the default listening, whatever it takes.
Yeah, no, totally. But no, I my first concert was supposed to be in '94. Was supposed to be. I was a huge Motley Crue fan. Never saw him live, but Vince Neil was opening for Van Hagar, so I was going to see that. Okay, and about 3 weeks later, the girl I was dating, her family had an extra ticket to go see Reba McEntire and Brooks and Dunn, and I'm so glad I went. That was like Reba now is still like she was my hall pass.
Don't bring it up again.
I have to get a new hall pass.
Don't
My
bring it up
wife is
again
mad
because your wife was very upset about
My wife
that.
was pretty upset, but she's getting too old now. So she's still gorgeous.
I don't know if
She's
that's
still,
the road we want to go down either, sir.
Yeah, but I have to get a new hall pass. So, but Reba was just phenomenal. She changed costumes so many times throughout the concert. Brooks and Dunn it was like watching a rock band.
Oh, yeah. Not to get off subject, but did you know the first Van Hagar appearance?
No.
It was at Farm Aid in Champaign, and I was there, and the lineup that day, because they didn't know if they were calling him Van Halen or what was happening,
Right.
but they knew that Sammy Hagar was going to perform with him. So their first performance ever was at Champaign at Farm Aid. That show had Johnny Cash. I mean, just go back and look at Google the first Farm Aid and look at the lineup that was there. And what I remember the most, I mean, it was an awesome time, but it rained the entire time. And I had 3 pairs of clothes, 3 changes of clothes. And by the third change, I was still soaked because it rained the entire time. I mean, probably 15 hours of rain.
Really?
But it was a great time.
Yeah. Well, something you'll never forget, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking about. But it's funny because I remember looking back at the lineup, and I remember the Van Hagar thing because, I mean, that was a huge thing.
Oh, yeah. That's a big merger.
I was a big Van Halen fan.
I wasn't a big
and
Red
a
Rocker
big Sammy
fan.
Hagar fan, too.
Okay, so you were both. So that's good. Yeah.
So that was it was very exciting.
Yeah.
But the lineup that day, you just go on and on. I don't have it in front of me, but it's just Google it sometime. That's like one of the greatest concerts I think I've ever seen.
Sometimes we have people Google stuff in studio for us, but sometimes we don't, right, Mac?
Yeah.
And to go back, there's nothing on subject or off subject. You take us down any tangent
we don't
you
have.
want.
First off, we're all about tangents and left turns.
Yeah,
so
that's good. I'll fit right in there.
Yeah, no, this is very, very cool. And so now you're not at CCQ anymore.
No,
Okay.
28 years finished up in February, and now I am looking for the next chapter.
Nice.
Yes.
So how many years in radio do you want to be? You said you got 41
Well, I'd
years.
like to continue, but I will tell you that right now it's a rough time for radio stations. I mean, just like CCQ and just from my standpoint, because I was essentially running the station, take away the Chicagoland Speedway, which was a huge client.
Oh, yeah.
Then take away all the concert venues. So take away First Midwest Bank Amphitheater, Rialto, any place that had a concert. Then take away festivals, Sandwich Fair, DuPage County Fair, any kind of festival. Then take away your restaurants and your bars. And you're looking at probably 50, 60% of your total revenue is gone.
Wow.
And even though things are starting to get back to normal, it's still not going to return to normal. And a lot of these businesses are just dangling. They're hanging on.
Yeah.
So when the things start to get back to normal, that doesn't mean they're going to advertise anymore.
Yeah, marketing budgets are going to be tight.
So the revenue streams are really low right now. So radio's going through some tough times. But we were all doing shows from basements, from closets, from all kinds of places. So it actually changed a lot of things now. I have my own studio in my house now. I mean, 2 years ago, nobody had a studio in their house. I mean, a couple people did. I had a studio, but it wasn't broadcast quality.
Right.
Now I have a studio that I could do, shows from. So that for the better, that changed that part from the broadcasting side of it. But from the radio side, the advertising pool has really narrowed.
Yeah. Well, and now you have RoyGregory.com, right? And that's what you're functioning off of.
Well,
right?
that's pretty much where I aim everything right now.
Yeah. So whether you're going to be doing podcasting or you have previous clips of stuff that you've done and this and that, that's where your focus is.
Yeah,
correct?
everything's on there. Radio bits. I have some podcasts on there. Videos, a lot of videos over the years, a lot of different things.
What do you think, as a guy being in radio so long, what do you think about the podcast world? Do you think that's where, there's a good footprint for you in there right now, or no?
Well, you can say things on a podcast that you can't say on the radio station.
Correct.
But you always had to be careful, about what was said and everything, because everything's watched. Your social media pages are watched. Everything's watched, monitored. Mm-hmm. So. If you could just tell me how to make money at it, I would love to find out.
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm not the guy to lean to there, right, Wilson?
Right. Well, I think the irony is that we came out of the basement and the closets to do the podcast.
We did.
And everyone else went back in.
Everybody's going in.
Because someone, our tech guy, Damon, couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, you should. I was so stupid. I mean, I had a laptop. I have the same program Mac uses here to download us and to produce it. I couldn't figure it out. And we recorded some stuff, finally got some stuff actually recorded where it sounds okay. But I was trying to run two Yeti mics, which you can't run through a laptop. And I was trying to do this and that. It was very weird.
You keep saying you had the same program as Mac, but you don't mention the fact that we had none of the same equipment.
Yeah, we had none of the same equipment.
That was the problem.
No, I had on the laptop, I have the exact same program.
You're very proud of yourself for that. You're very proud of yourself.
I think so. I think so. Not anybody can just download that program, Ted.
Yeah, no, it's super hard.
So, yeah, you need a mixer for all your microphones, your inputs, and everything. Yeah.
It was crazy. And so we're doing this, and I even built a little box. We're we're closer than me and you are, talking into a box into one microphone. And I'm like, this is crazy, and it just didn't work. So we found Mac, an Audiohive podcast studio here. We love it, and we even like Mac sometimes, right, Mac?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, he is awake.
He's awake.
And
Normally, he's Googling.
I thought we were going to get one past him, but he's awake right now.
Hey, real quick, and not to take away from anything, Mac, how's the stocks this week? You okay?
Yeah.
I noticed there's no interns. There's no hostile takeover this week.
No.
You're still going to own Audiohive?
We're good.
Yeah. He got in some GameStop or whatever he did, and he's...
since we can roll anywhere here.
Yes, we can.
One of the things I've done is I sat down with a financial advisor this week, and they said, hey, I need your statements from your 401ks because I had the radio station sold 7 times.
Oh,
so
you were there the whole time.
I had
every time.
401ks through different companies.
Right.
So when it happened, I would start a new one with each company. So I have a couple, and it's not like they're worth a ton. But I will say this: in the last 6 months, if you haven't looked at your 401k, it's going through the roof. It's amazing. Really? I have made more in 6 months than I probably made in 5 years.
Really?
It's amazing how much the 401ks are exploding.
Well, that's got to make you feel positive.
As long as you've allocated correctly. And in this case, I got lucky. But I was shocked. He said, get your statements. I hadn't looked at a statement probably for a year.
Yeah.
Because they tell you don't knee jerk and don't, pull different, stocks and all that. So I hadn't looked in a year, and my eyes bulged because the amount that was in there now compared to what it was last year doubled. It was amazing.
I'm sure the day you checked must have been a Monday through Friday because, as we learned last week from Mac, the stock market's closed on Saturday, right?
Yeah, and you just can't check anything.
You can't check. Yeah. We asked him how he was doing. He goes, they're closed.
Well, 401k is a little different than the stock market. I mean, but it all affects each other.
In there, right?
It all affects.
Yeah. I did some quick Googling right now, Brian. Dan, I got to go because I don't need to be here anymore. I'm sitting pretty good.
Roy, thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
Now back to that checks out with Damon and Roy.
Unfortunately, I didn't drive, so I'll be in the car.
I'll be in the car waiting.
I'll be in the car. I don't need to be here, but I'm going to be right up there.
But with that said about how you're moving on now, I wish you the best because I know wherever you land, if you do land somewhere else, I think you're going to really like podcasting because you do get to be yourself and you do get to say, like we both have day jobs, you know what I mean? And not in radio, not in entertainment. And I'm not picking Ted. He leans over like, don't say he doesn't have a day job. But no, we both have. So like he works for a corporation, I work for a corporation. You don't want to, you still have to watch what you do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we have a podcast, but we can't come on here and be straight thug life and act the fool like we might and use football words like I use most of the time. I can't do that because I still represent other things besides myself. But for you, if that's just going to become your entity, use all the football words you want, buddy. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I recommend that, but
but no, I really think, and with your fan base and your following, because I noticed there was a lot of people that were in an uproar when you were no longer there, myself included. So I was like, that's been a staple of since I really got into country music, you know. So it's kind of weird, and I'm living here at least another 6 years, I think, until my daughter graduates, and then we plan on going to Florida. But there's certain things when you're scrolling through the radio, and again, that station comes in perfect every time, no matter where you are, you know. You'll hit it on a seek, and it's just weird to not hear your voice on it in the morning.
Well, and I appreciate that. You know, the thing about radio is when somebody leaves, so to speak, radio, nobody knows anything because there's nobody says a word. I mean, the process is like, okay, you are eliminated from the website. You're no longer on the station, you know, and nobody says anything.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. It's been like that for years.
Yeah.
So I've never been on that side of anything. So I've never seen it before, you know, been on that side of it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to figure out a way to tell everybody this is why I'm not here.
Yeah.
So through Facebook and some of the social media pages, I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you can't hit everybody. And then it makes the rounds. Robert Feeder had it, you know, and then there were different places that had it. So, you know, people find out. But I mean, if you're a radio listener, you just tune in, nothing's said.
Right.
And that's just how it is. It's always like that. I'm not like any different than anybody else who's ever been, you know, let go, whatever. It just happens.
Yeah. I mean, I've had that happen where, like, on Friday you listen to the show, and then on Monday you turn it back on, and it's nothing. It's just a new show. They don't say anything. It's just something else. And you're like, what's going on? Like, what happened? It's really jarring how quick it just.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I realize they have to move on, and the show goes on, and this and that, but they try to like remove you from the existence of being there, and it's like. You were there. You were a huge part of that.
And a lot of times, how do you explain it, too? That's the other thing is how do you exactly explain what happened? You know?
Right. Well, and especially, too, I mean, you when we talked, even personally, you have no ill will or bad words to say. So it's like that's the right way to do it. And even if you have those inside, you're not voicing them. So that's, I mean, it's a very weird position to be in, but it's a very nice way to look at it.
Yeah, I hired all those people. All the people that are on the radio station, I hired them all.
That's ironic, isn't it?
They're all my friends, so I don't want anything to happen. I don't want any ill will to happen to them.
Yeah,
and that station when I started there in 1993, almost right before you started listening as a senior in high school. Yeah. You know, they weren't rated at the time. And there was a time where I was doing the only live show on that radio station. I did all the commercials. I did all the live appearances. I did everything.
Yeah.
And we made the book, you know, the book being the Arbitron ratings book. Mm-hmm. And then we just consistently made it. But it took a long time to get to that point and then to keep it up. And then the little things that nobody sees, but like concerts. Yeah. Like I remember doing like shows at the DuPage County Fair where they haven't done big shows for a while, but they had like Kenny Chesney and some other people. Yeah. Well, the big thing is, you know, there were other radio stations that they could spend money to advertise. And for years, we had to convince these festivals that, look, you know, we're a really good buy. If you concentrate most of your money with us, it'll get a lot further than advertising on a Chicago station where you're spending a ton of money.
Especially when you're in the suburbs. You're in their backyard doing it.
And we can fill up your venue if you wanted to go by us. And there were times where they just went with us. And then over years, that took a long time to convince a lot of these promoters and a lot of the festival people that we could sell out your, you know, 20,000 seat venue just with advertising on a suburban station. Mm-hmm. That took years to get to that point.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, it's like a child. I mean, I saw that station from a very small station that was a satellite station. So all your shows were done satellite remotely. They were in Dallas, Satellite Music Network at the time.
Yeah.
And then we went to getting another live show and then maybe throwing another live show in. And then it got to the point where we could pay people to come in and do shows, and it went really well. So it's like a child for me. It's a weird thing because I haven't, I haven't walked in there, and I did it for so many years. So it's weird now.
Well, you said your schedule. You're still getting up at what, 3:00 in the morning?
Yeah, 3:15 usually. The only benefit now is I look at the clock and I go back to sleep. Whereas before I was like, okay, I got maybe 10 minutes. But I have a dog, Wrigley. She's really good. She sits by the side of the bed, and when I do any kind of movement, she'll come over, and she usually gets in your face a little bit. But if
Sound familiar, Ted?
But if I'm not ready, she will lay down until I get ready. So she's good, and she also knows if you're late for some reason. She has this clock, and she will mess with you, and you'll get up. So
I don't have a family dog that I'm a fan of, but Ted's dog likes to nap on his head.
My dog's up. It will not be like, oh, we're not getting up yet. My dog, when it's up, we're getting up.
False. Yeah. We are getting up now.
Yeah. And he doesn't. It's not face to face. He likes to go butt to face.
Yeah, she's not. Thankfully, that's not a good way to wake up.
No, I can tell you, it is not.
So I have a story. We were out at the racetrack one year, and of course, now I met you through mutual friends of ours, Rich and Helen. Okay, and we were out at the racetrack one year, and you were doing something out there, and then you broke free. And I remember me and my wife, yourself, and then I had a couple buddies with me, and we started walking around. Now my buddies, I said, hey, my buddy Roy's over there. Let's go say hi. So we went over, said hi. As soon as you talked, my buddy Brian lost himself because he only listened to CCQ. He only knew. So you were like, you totally big timed him and didn't even know it. So it's hysterical because we're walking along the racetrack and we're just walking like through the shopping area. By the way, to protect Brian, it's Brian with an I, not a Y. Okay, so we'll protect his name. We'll protect his name. All right, it's Brian with an I, not the Y.
Okay, so it's not Brian with a Y.
Right.
It's Brian, not Brian.
Correct. It's Brian. So, but all of a sudden, I turn around. He's on his cell phone, and he's like, "Amy, you're never gonna guess. You're never gonna guess who
Wait, is it Amy with a Y?
Or Amy with a Y. We're gonna go Amy IE just in case. Amy IE. Okay. But he goes, "You're never gonna guess who we're walking with." And Nicole's like, "Is he calling Amy right now?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, this is just Roy." Because that's how we knew you. It's just Roy. But you have that voice that when people hear it, they're like, "But that's Roy." So that's how you come across to people. I mean, for a long time, even when I met you, I had never seen, because radio wasn't all about social media years ago. You know what I mean? There wasn't social media anyway. And so he's walking and talking. We get done, and he goes, "Man, I can't believe you know Roy." And I said, "Well, I met him through a friend." I said, "He's a really nice guy." "Oh, yeah, no, he seemed..." But you totally big time somebody and made their day, and you had no idea.
Well, it was
crazy.
It's funny because when you ask a friend or something, what's your brush with somebody that was, and I'm not saying I'm famous, but I mean somebody that was, well known.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, he was a real jerk." Yeah. And what happens is, we're all people.
Right.
We could have a bad day. I mean, on the way here, I could have got a flat tire. I could have been in a rotten mood. My hands could be all, dirty and all that. So you could be in a bad mood. Then somebody comes up to you, and I always, the thing that I always tried to do was I never, ever, ever tried to be rude to anybody, no matter how bad of a mood I was in. I always tried to say, "Look, this might be the only time I ever talk to this person face to face. And I don't want them to think that I was a jerk just because I had a bad day."
Right.
And it's happened. I mean, we meet, over the years, I've had a chance to meet all kinds of people. I mean, I could tell you some good and some bad. I mean, one of my favorite Kenny Rogers stories, the women just love Kenny Rogers. "Oh, he's great. I love Kenny Rogers." Nice guy. I met him like probably 5 or 6 times, but there was one time at the Rialto. We had a meet and greet backstage, and there was essentially like maybe 5 couples. It was all men and women, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever the case. And we're going through the line, and he would greet all the women. He'd grab their hands, sometimes, kiss their hands and do all this stuff, and the women were just loving it. But he would skip the guys. He wouldn't even say hi to the husbands.
Really?
He just ignored them and went to the next girl. And to me, I just remember that. I still remember that's a long time ago. Yeah. And I just remember that. And I was like, I'm sure the women were very excited, but I'm sure the guys were like, God, this guy's a real jerk.
Yeah.
And I just, I think about, just different times where you're meeting people and your perception could be so different than somebody else who met them maybe the day before or maybe even 10 minutes before that, because you don't know what happened in the course of 15 minutes or a half hour or an hour. So I just always, I looked at everybody that listened to the radio station as a friend.
Yeah.
And if that's not the way I would treat a friend, then, that's everybody, because you never know when you're going to talk to this person again. And most of my friends now that I consider friends were people that listened at some point to the radio station. And like that, I just happened to meet them in an event. Mm-hmm. And then you start hanging out, you have some fun, and they become friends. So that's just the way I looked at it.
No, like I said, it was very cool because you didn't know that you made his day. And like I said, I heard about the story afterwards too. We were in different crowds. He's like, "Hey, we're at the racetrack. He knows Gregory from CCQ, and we hooked at the racetrack, and we were walking around with him. And this night, he's a real nice guy." And so you're right, because that gets infectious then, and then they tell people, not that somebody wouldn't listen to a radio station because you're a jerk. You know what I mean? But they could, they really could. And you're right. From the Kenny Rogers standpoint, if you're a husband and wife going there, you spent family household money on tickets. So you'd kind of like an acknowledgement too from the star that you just paid a whole bunch of money to see, So because those tickets ain't cheap.
But then you have another side, and then there's some people that are just genuinely nice. And the one story I always go back to is Garth Brooks. Back in it was like 94, 95. He did like 5-6 shows. This is before he was doing 10 shows, and he sold them out in like 10 minutes.
He did 5 because I got to the 5th show, and I was standing in. That's when you used to have stand in line at Ticketmaster, and I stood in line there. And before we got 30 minutes into it, they sold out all 4 shows. They added a 5th.
Yeah. So I remember. I remember this like it was yesterday. So we were backstage, and very small groups. I think it was 4 people that we would take back to meet him, and we'd go in his dressing room. And this one particular, and I don't remember which night it was because we were pretty much at every show, but the person that won, because it's all through the radio station, you're winning your backstage passes, you're winning your tickets and all that. So this person had won, and she died before the concert because, a lot of these concerts are announced months and months in advance. Well, the person that won died, so her daughter and her sister went to the concert. So when we got there, the daughter was like, she was in tears. I'm like, what's going on? She goes, well, my mom won these tickets. She was so excited. She was a big Garth Brooks fan. She really wanted to go. So I'm going, and, my aunt, her sister, is going. So it was real emotional for him, right? So we go into his dressing room. He's putting on his socks. He's getting his boots ready, to go on. And I'm looking down here to see what time it is. It's close to the show getting started. So it was before the show. And she starts crying. The daughter starts crying. Garth goes over, grabs a tissue box, wipes her eyes, the tears from her eyes. Yes.
Okay.
I actually physically got up, got the box Kleenex and got it. And then his manager, the managers are always there for the meet and greets and backstage. Yeah. Well, he whispers something to his manager, and the manager leaves. So it's just Garth and then us 4. And he's getting ready. He's talking to us like we're lost long buddies. He talks, and he knew me because I had seen him, before. And we're talking, and she starts crying, and then he's asking her what's going on. She explained that her mom had died, and she was a huge Garth fan. Now, I'm watching this whole thing, and he's not writing anything down. There's no manager there writing anything down. We're just talking. So we're talking, and I'm looking, and it's getting real close to showtime. It's like 25 minutes. We're still backstage, which is unusually long for a meet and greet.
Oh, yeah.
Usually it's shake hand, take a picture, and you're done. That's it. Right. So we're talking, and the manager comes with a couple bags. And he goes, hey, I just want to let you know, I saw you had a poster, and it had a rip in the corner. And he goes, here is everything from all my merchandise. So there was tour jackets, hats, It was everything.
Wow.
And he said, he goes, if there's anything here you don't want, just take it back to the merchandise stand and they'll give you cash. They'll give you a refund. So he did on his own now. So he saw that her poster was ripped. So told his manager to go out and get stuff. So while we're talking, the manager goes, gets that stuff. So he was thinking that way. Then when the meet and greet's over, we go inside. He's on stage. He interrupts the show after about 30 minutes. And he goes, and I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about this. Now, again, he's not writing anything down. He goes, hey, I have never performed this song ever. And I want to send this out and mention her mom's name.
Wow.
And performed a song. And we were all crying.
Yeah.
We were all crying.
Yeah.
There was, again, he's such a genuine guy. And every time I met him, that's the kind of stuff he would do. It's not, you could just shake a hand and be done.
Yeah.
And most of them, that's how it is because, they're looking at this, it's, more meet and greet. Here we go, more fans. Right. Totally different. He was just so nice. So I think about some of the people that go the extra mile. I mean, I remember a show with Taylor Swift, my daughter, who now is...
I was going to say, you don't seem like the Taylor Swift crowd.
Senior. I took one for the team, and I actually liked... Taylor Swift was okay.
Yeah.
But my daughter had watched a thing on Taylor Swift, and when she was young, she had a notebook, and she would write songs. She was writing all her songs in a notebook. And she saw this thing, and then we went to the meet and greet, and this was over at the All-State Arena. It's been called a few things, but I think it's All-State Arena now. And... in the area that they had, she had put tapestry and made it look like a castle. So when you came in, it had this entrance. It was just so cool. And then you would be waiting, and it had this is the outfit that I wore at the CMA Awards, first time I was ever nominated.
She has this on tour with her
yes.
at the meet and greet.
Yes.
Wow.
And so you would go and she had this dress, and it would be displayed, and there'd be a picture of her at the CMA Awards with that dress. And so while you're waiting, she had some things that you would look at. And again, this is like it's almost like a cafeteria. It's a big room, but they had it sectioned off with tapestry, and they made it look real fancy. Mm-hmm. So when we go around the corner to meet her, it looked like it looked like a castle, and she had a throne. She had this big chair. It looked like a throne, like a queen's chair. Mm-hmm. And we come around the corner. My daughter was, I think, 12 at the time. And she goes, "Oh, my God, you're so cute." And I'm like, "Well, thank you. I appreciate that." But she goes, "You're so cute. Give me a hug." And my daughter went over there, gave her a hug, and explained that she had her own, she was writing songs, and she had her own book and this and that. And again, I will say Taylor Swift, above and beyond, was talking to her. I mean, again, there's so many of these. I mean, you just go on, and they're usually about 10, 20, 30 seconds, and it's over. It's so quick. But Taylor Swift was another one that went above and beyond to make her experience with the fans even better. So,
and she gets a pretty good rap, I think, for that too, doesn't? I mean,
she's very connected to her fans. She'll watch social media. She'll see something, and she'll reach out and either give that person money, or she'll fly that person to a show and then give them money and help them out if they lost. There's just all kinds of different stories. So when you go back to meeting people, there's some people that have it really down, that really care about the fans, and there's some that probably just don't look at it that way. But I always just thought that, man, when you meet somebody, could be the only time, and you're not going to be a jerk. And there's been so many people that I remember. Those are the ones that stuck out for me, that they went above and beyond. And look at them; they're both real successful. So
I'd say Garth Brooks is pretty successful, a little bit.
I'm not familiar. Is he,
Garth Brooks.
Is he an entertainer?
Wait, I liked Chris Gaines.
Yeah,
that was my favorite.
When you're Garth Brooks, you can do anything.
You really can.
That's probably the only thing he's ever done that wasn't successful.
And even his failure at that, he's probably still made money. You know what I mean?
He talked about bringing that back to try to do something, but he doesn't need to prove anything.
That had to be a younger phase. We all went through phases like that where we had an alter ego. Mine's doing a podcast now. I'm going through it now.
You're not in a younger phase, though.
Well, I'm younger than you. No, I'm older than you. Damn it all. Okay, never mind. Yeah, we're in our mid 40s.
4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6. Those are mids.
I know my cues. You don't have to point to me.
I'd like you to talk, Wilson. I'd like you to talk.
Oh, okay. Is that what you want? I will say though, like to back that up, is that you talk to a lot of celebrities now. Like they don't like selfies. They prefer you to want to talk to them. Just like have a few minutes, actually have a conversation. Because with the selfie, it seems like it's more for you can brag about it later than it is for the actual experience. And so I that's what I've seen more lately is that they really just the ones that still want to talk. There are the people that don't want to talk at all, and then those are the people that. Like the Damons of the world that are just jerks. But
yeah, let's take a picture.
There's somebody waiting outside the podcast studio. Hey, Damon, can I get your autograph? No.
Yeah,
I want my latte.
That's the Heisman pose. I do the stiff arm, and I go right past.
It's the only thing you got that's stiff.
Yeah. So, but no, like Ted. Well, so Ted has a story. He met Christopher Lloyd, right? And he got stuck, like in the line.
Stopped.
Line stopped while he had FaceTime, and so
so it was like because it was a Back to the Future reunion. So it was Christopher Lloyd.
It was forced because of the stoppage.
Leah Thompson. Yeah, there was 4 people there, and he was the last one. And so there's a line behind me, and the guy got stopped. But because I got stopped in front of him, I had an opportunity that no one else had. But he was very gracious. We started talking about other projects. I brought up shows that he's in that my kids like. And then one of them was an animated show. And then he started going into that voice for me. He's like, you tell your kids this. And I was like, it was amazing. But to call back to that, one of the people there was Claudia Wells, who played Jennifer in the first Back to the Future movie. Cut to 5 years later, I'm in her store in Studio City in California, and I bring up that event, and she's like, oh, yeah, I remember that event. It was in Naperville. It was put on by so-and-so, and I was like, we met then, and I told her the story. She's like, oh, yeah, your mom was there, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, wow, I'm meeting someone, but for her, she remembered enough of it and put it together that she didn't need to remember that.
I couldn't get past Leah Thompson. That was it, because I had the hots for her. Yeah. I was like, she was everything.
Yeah.
So that would have been all I
still
remember.
Today. I mean, that was 5 years ago now, but yeah, it was still like, hi, nice to meet you. Could the line stop here too, please?
Hey, so normally, I'm having fun. This is totally different from what we normally do, and I like this because it's a different feel.
Oh, you're having fun?
I'm having fun. Having fun.
We've done 40 some episodes, Roy. Apparently now he's having fun. Now I understand what it's like to be your wife.
We found the problem. Yeah, mid-40s, 4, 5, 6. But normally we catch up. This was a pretty good catch up session. Now, me personally, I don't really have a whole lot to catch up on. What about you? You have anything to catch up on?
I really feel like I'm in the hot seat.
Well, no, only because he travels once in a while. He'll travel for work. He'll go to Iowa. Sometimes we get some stupid stories, which is pretty fun. Sometimes we get nothing, and then we just move on to something else.
No, the only thing that I remember from Iowa was driving Monday. For those of you not in the area, Monday there was an ice storm.
Oh yeah.
No, I always look at the weather. I'm not an idiot. I'm an adult. I'm in my mid-40s.
4, 5, 6.
Thank you. That was my cue. I'm glad you picked it up on it.
Nailed it.
I knew there was going to be
point
weather.
at Roy next time. So he does.
Well, we'll get there. I don't want to force it. I don't want to force it.
I'm easily trainable.
Yeah. I mean, you came in and knew how to work Brian's studio better than any of us within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, you got it. Never mind. Got it.
Yeah, he adjusted his mic.
Fixing everything.
Very nice.
with Damon, it's always like, Brian, I can't do anything. Can you do this for me real quick? I tried to do this in my basement. Anyway.
That hurts.
I look ahead for the weather. I knew we were going to have weather on Monday. I didn't realize it was going to be sideways ice.
Yeah.
That they don't have like a little emoji in the Weather Channel for that.
Yeah.
So I was leaving gaps between me and the car in front of me because I'm not an idiot, but the people in front of me were not. So there's 16 cars in front of me, all, trunk to hood. Mm-hmm. And then, a good 4-car gap and then people behind me. And suddenly a big lifted monster truck shot off into the ditch and flew up into the air. And I guarantee you, after that, suddenly there were gaps between all the cars.
Nice.
But yeah, that was the only, it was the only exciting thing. I lost a pair of pants on the way out because
it was better than the one time
treacherous.
You went with no pants. Yeah, so that's pretty good.
Well, I'm just impressed that you went to Iowa. I mean,
I didn't choose. I didn't choose to go to Iowa. That's where work sends me.
It's like an ice storm. I'm thinking, okay, Cozumel, Jamaica, somewhere. You're going to Iowa.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by that.
Yeah. What's the? It's northern Cancun.
I don't get a paycheck if I don't go to my job. So that's kind of the only reason I went.
When did Iowa get in the Bahamas? That's so weird. Hey, we do have to touch base. We're going to be doing a 5K actually, which is weird because you look at our physiques, Roy, and there's no way we're going to do a 5K.
Wait,
but we are.
I thought we were just going to eat 5,000 calories.
Yeah, well, first off, I did that for breakfast, so that's
I was there.
Done.
You did.
It's been done.
Yeah.
But no, we're going to do a 5K for it's the Bob Ross.
It's a charity for Michigan State Parks.
Right.
It's Run for the Trees. It's called, but all the merch and marketing and the medals and the T-shirts all say I'll have Bob Ross on.
Yeah, and since I'm just a happy accident anyway, we're gonna go do this 5K. So it's gonna be pretty cool. And
half of that was right. Half of it. I'll let you guess which half.
Yeah, some adjective in that was not correct. But no, we're going to go up and meet with a buddy of Ted's and a buddy of mine now through social media. I've never met him face to face, but Eric Williamson.
We've got his koozie on the fridge over here. That's his face.
Kazoo Whisker Crew.
Kazoo Whisker Crew.
But we're going to go up and meet with them and do a 5K and take some shots and stuff like that. Just get some content, I guess, and have a little fun. But I've never done a 5K, not even a virtual one. You have.
Yeah.
I have not. Roy, have you ever run a 5K? Or anything like that?
No.
Oh, smartest man at the table, right here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
smartest man at the table.
Instant upgrade, Roy. You actually you smarter just by association. I don't know how you felt coming in here. Feel pretty good right now.
I see.
Yeah, you should feel pretty good. So
I mean, the goal was we set this up like 8 months ago. The goal was to be in better shape by the time we got to the 5K.
Oval's a shape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, now we're like less than 4 weeks out, and I think we're in worse shape than when we started.
It's like that science test. I'm going to start cramming right now. I promise. I'll be ready.
Well, we've been cramming our faces the whole time. Is the problem.
Yeah. So even this morning, we were coming here. We were a little early, and I said he usually likes Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I said, "Hey, you want Dunkin'?" I said, "We're going to be early." We drive past Sonic. I go, "Do they have breakfast?" So I stopped, and not a fan of Sonic breakfast. Just out there. Don't call.
Wait, you're not a fan of some restaurant's breakfast?
Yeah, some restaurant. Brian, some store.
Yeah. Also, Brian, can you the coffee shop that's local that we talk about all the time? Can you just loop that in when he said Dunkin'?
Yeah.
Ted really likes 10 Drops coffee.
Ted really likes 10 Drops.
Not a sponsor. Call me.
Yeah, but do you? So now that you're got some more free time, you watch a lot of TV or no?
I have been. Normally, I never did, but I've binged, watched, and of course, NCAA tournament now. There's, baseball's about to start.
Yeah, well, that's your sport of passion, right? I mean, you're a Bears fan though, too, right?
Oh yeah.
Even though it's hard to watch what's going on, and I won't even get into it. I mean, it's hard to watch.
I'm a Cubs season ticket holder, and actually, yesterday was my day to secure my tickets for the first 6 games. So what they did was they gave season ticket holders the opportunity to buy tickets for the first 6 games because only 8,200 fans out of the 40 to 43,000 are allowed in.
That's the magic number, huh?
Yeah. So this will actually mark the very first opening day, except last year because they didn't really have an opening day. No fans were allowed in. This will be the first opening day I've missed since 1993.
Really?
So I didn't get my tickets.
Yeah. So was it a lottery? Like you had to put in and get them? Because there's so many ticket holders? Or
They got in a virtual window. I had a time. My time yesterday was in the afternoon. It was at 2:30. So by the time I got in, the only thing that was in there was in the very corner of right and left field in the upper deck at the very end. My tickets are right over home plate in the upper deck. I'm 5 rows up.
Okay.
So, but you didn't get your tickets because they have to spread you out, and there's only so many, tickets they're allowing. So I was a little bummed out. I didn't get my tickets. I'm not going to opening day.
That's amazing.
I'm really bummed out.
So that's like the second time in 26 or 28 years.
Well, there was actually, I guess you could say it would actually be, this will be the third time because there was a game that was snowed out.
I believe
12 years ago. I don't remember the year, but somewhere it was snowed out.
Really?
Yeah. But other than the snowed out the last year because of COVID, and then this year, these will be the only 3 in a long time, 30 years that I haven't been to.
So 8,000 out of about 40,000 is what you're seating.
Yep. Same with the White Sox, same thing.
Really?
Which, again, for them, that'd probably be a full
house.
Sellout.
That's a sellout.
They'd be all excited.
They'll record that.
Yeah.
Hey, another sold-out crowd today.
Right.
Hey, that peanut guy's got to be pissed because he's got to run so many aisles.
Oh, yeah.
Can you just hand these down? Just hand them down. That guy at the very end.
Yeah, well, they're not allowed to hand them either. Yeah, that's the whole thing. You got to start throwing them. So if I normally go into like a Treadflix, I can honestly tell you that's my treadmill and my Netflix is on a TV right in front of me. I've done 0 treadmill this week.
Shows.
Yeah, it does show. Yeah, my work shows. But generally, I've been more into...
That's the car in Dukes of Hazzard.
Generally, yes. I like the AWE channel now. I don't know if you have DirecTV or not.
Aww.
Yeah, but it's called...
What is it?
Stands for A Wealth of Entertainment. And what it is, it's kind of like a travel channel, but it's not. And they go through all these weird, like, vicarious vacations and this and that. So it's kind of neat because it's a lot of places that I know I'll probably never go.
Because you have to get on a plane.
You have to get on a plane.
Damon doesn't fly.
I've never flown. I've never been on a plane.
He's the B.A. Baracus of this group.
Yeah. I went on a plane once at Museum of Science and Industry. You know, they got the plane in there. Okay. Hand of God.
Do you know what that plane?
I melted down. I had to get out of there immediately.
Hey, Brian, set up a remote at the Museum of Science because I want to see this.
Damon tackles his biggest fears.
You know that plane can't get in the sky, right?
I can't hear-
it's in the sky because it's in the second floor.
Right.
But,
But it could fall 20 feet. It could still fall from the sky because it's in the sky.
He'd be fine.
But I got in there.
yeah, you'd bounce.
I'm claustrophobic. I have control issues. Like if I could steer the plane, which is more dangerous to anybody, then I might take a turn. You know what I mean? But I just real bad with that stuff. I really
if you ever want a road trip, I'd take Damon because he insists on driving. You can nap the whole time.
it'd be like driving a Tesla smart car. You know?
It's
It'd be
so,
I don't have to
it's
do
so
nothing.
great.
Well, I shouldn't say. You still have to be the navigator. You have to
that's
find
true.
restaurants.
Because you will say, hey, in 4 miles, you're going to get off the road. It's the next exit. There's no other exit between now and when we get off. 3 and 7/5 miles later. Hey, is this where I get off? Yes. This is the only exit, you jackass.
Yeah.
How about now? Now? Do I get off now?
I do. That's how I'm a very
I will tell you the route it's on, what exit number it is.
Yeah.
If it's going to be on the right
It'll
or
be
left.
like it's 32B, and I'll get 30. I'm like, was it B? Is it B?
Yeah,
Right? It's B. It's not A.
It's 32B.
A's up there. Is it B? You know, I'm really nervous when it comes to that stuff.
Well, you would be great. You'd be a great RV owner. Because
Don't say that. My wife wants one. Don't
I
say
owned
that.
an RV for a number of years, and we went all over the place with the kids, and that's a great trip because they're not asking, are we there yet? If you're driving, because
They're chill. Yeah.
they could play video games, they can make they can play cards, they can make pizzas in the ovens, they could do anything.
Yeah.
That was one of the best times having the RV. We went to all kinds of cool places.
Really? Did you stay a lot of state parks and stuff then too?
We did, and one of a couple of my favorite stories. We stayed at Yellowstone, and there was this park, and I was, I think Peyton at the time, my daughter was probably 8 years old, maybe 7 years old, and I said, Peyton, look at this where we're going to stay, and it was right by the waterfall in Yellowstone, and you could actually hear the waterfall at night. It was so cool, but the thing is, you couldn't have any soft-sided, no tents.
Oh,
You
really?
couldn't have any soft-sided campers. And I showed her that, like, on the little reservation. We made it, and I said, isn't this cool? You can't have any soft-sided campers. Why is that, Dad? Bears. The bears come into the campsites at night, and they want, like, your scrap food. They go through your and there's actually people actually were taking garbage cans and hoisting them up.
in trees.
Yeah, so the bears wouldn't, like, dig through your campsites, and I thought that was kind of cool. She was all excited. So at night, I would be a bad dad.
Shut
and
up.
I'd
Were you
go
doing that
and
really?
Scratch the side of the RV and so that's me being a dad. But the RV that's a way to see stuff you'd never see otherwise, and a lot of weird things. I remember taking it to Lambeau Field with my buddy Cowboy.
My brother says I got to see a game there, but I just can't bring myself to go there.
Well, we're there a long time before the game. We're having beverages, we're tailgating. I'm wearing my Friends Don't Let Friends Be Packers shirt, my pre-tailgate shirt.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we're doing our thing. Everybody was real nice. And we're probably, 3 hours into the tailgate. We've had a few beverages, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, Mr. G, I have something we have to do." And I'm like, okay. And he goes, "My babysitter's dad was a big Packers fan, and he just died. And his wish is to have his ashes spread on the field of Lambeau Field." I'm like, okay, all right. But he's waiting like 3 hours after we're already getting inhibited. And he's,
You're self-medicating.
He waited 3 hours before he did this. So I'm like, okay. He pulls out the Ziploc bag. It's huge. It was like a 5-pound Ziploc bag with white powder in it. And I'm like, they are not going to let us in Lambeau Field with this big bag of white powder. I said, it does. I mean, there's just no way.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like, I can't believe what a jerk. You waited this long to figure it out. So we're looking around, and where we're tailgating, there's a practice field right next to us, and it has a pretty tall chain link fence. And it was like, I don't know, they had a name for it. One of the Packers, Ray Nitschke Field or something. And so I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. I said, let's take half the ashes, put it in the practice field, and then take the other and put it down your pants, and we'll figure out a way to get it on the field. So we did. He climbed and got half of it on the practice field and then rolled it up and stuck it down his pants.
Yeah.
So we went to the game. And the Bears had a rare victory. They were losing the entire game, but they actually won this particular game.
Wow.
And at the end, so we go walking down to the field, and of course, they have the security guards sitting there, and they're facing you, and I'm like, how are we going to do this? Well, I think I need to distract the guard while you're doing the ashes, right? So I'm like, I talk to the security guard, and I get him like one row up from the field. And then while I'm talking, he weasels his way down to the field, and he gets the Ziploc out, and he's shaking it. I can see the powder floating in the air and everything else.
Like LeBron before a game?
It was something, but we got it done. So that story, I always remember that, is how he waited till the last minute to tell me, oh, by the way, Mr. G, we have one thing we have to do.
Yeah.
But we got it done. So her father's ashes made it to Lambeau Field, made it to their practice field.
Wow.
But I will never forget, because I had never seen ashes in a Ziploc bag, and I'm telling you, it was white powder.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like I'm wearing a Friends Don't Let Friends Be Packers shirt, and I'm going to be holding a 5-pound bag of white powder.
Right.
I was like, you're not letting me into the stadium. It's not happening.
Yeah.
I don't see that's a problem. I just want to go in there, sir.
Think about the RV. A lot lot of adventures that way.
Like I said, Nicole really wants one.
Yeah.
And here's the problem. I don't want to drive.
I need Brian to take a note. Brian, I need you to do a setup remote at Yosemite. No, Yellowstone. I'm sorry, Yellowstone. I want a soft-sided tent that says Hershey's on the side. Don't listen to any of these.
Yeah.
This is not for you.
Tootsie Roll, a
Yeah.
brown tent that says Tootsie
Because I want to
Roll.
give a gift wrap package to a bear.
Yeah.
You're going to be in that tent.
Damon, I want you to sleep in this hammock hanging from a tree. Hold my baby back ribs,
Why does this
please.
hammock say Hershey's? Don't worry about it. You are a treat.
I got sunscreen. That's Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. What are you giving me here? Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Nicole wants an RV. Is that what you're saying? So you'd be the driver. I'd have to be your navigator. I don't want to be in that trip.
I don't have a Tom. I have a Ted. He just sits on the dash. He's like, turn left, Damon. I swear to God, turn left now.
Why are we in Metropolis? That's where I wanted to go. I wanted to see the Superman statue. I hate the rest of you.
Where's the big redwoods? Oh, okay. I totally misunderstood what you said there. Sorry. What's that, like Dumb and Dumber? You drove a third of the way across the country in the wrong direction.
That's what you get.
Wow. That hurts, man. But no, that's what that. So honestly, I don't really need an RV. If I just watch enough AWE, I can live vicariously. No, they don't go to like Colorado, or they don't go to like, they go to all these weird destinations. The lady went to Istanbul, not Constantinople. Yes. I knew you were thinking it, right?
I actually sadly was.
Yeah. We share the same brain, so it's kind of weird.
Myself right now, but yeah, I was thinking that.
So she's there, and she leans over to the table next to her. Now, of course, she has a film camera with her, so people probably let their guard down a little bit because, hey, I'm on TV. They don't know where, but they're on TV. And she leans over and she goes, well, what's that you're having? And it was something with sardines, which, cool, enjoy. I don't want any of it. She goes, would you mind if I have one? No, here you go. And then she gives her the community dipping mustard sauce because it's much better in this. And I'm thinking to myself, is this like sharing, and then she gives her the lemon too. She goes, oh, squeeze some lemon on there. That's your half a lemon you've had in your hand, squeezing it on your plate. You just handed it to a stranger.
It's a different culture, though.
Well, it's a different, but what were they share citrus? Is that their culture? I mean, is it like they're just
trying to be nice. I feel like you're coming off as a jerk here.
It was totally weird. So I thought our next trip,
I don't like this.
Hold a camera,
right?
I eat for free off everybody's plates, and we're golden. I think we do this. I'll bring my own dipping sauce because if I walk up with barbecue sauce and ranch, they're gonna know what's kind of going on. You know what I mean?
I just have to let it happen because I learned last week I don't speak for the table when you're eating.
That's correct. He tried to abruptly end breakfast, really, and that's a big no.
We were at an all-you-can-eat place where they bring you more stuff, and I thought we were done after the last round, and Damon got very upset that I tried to wave off
you
the
gotta
waitress.
Get your money's worth. I get it.
Yeah,
I understand that.
I got their mortgage payments worth. I'm going to tell you that.
I have to tell you an eating story that you'll appreciate. This goes to show the jerk side of me for sure. So I'm in New Orleans. And
I want to go there too. So
awesome place.
Totally worth it?
Oh, gosh.
Okay,
yes. New
just
Orleans.
so we know, not Mardi Gras time, just regular New
No,
Orleans.
it's regular time.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I remember this because the Atlanta Braves were playing the Toronto Blue Jays in the World Series. And we watched that game where the former Cub hit the home run and they won the Game 7.
Really?
I can't remember his name now, outfielder, and it's slipping my mind.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, so we're going there, and we're a lot of these places now. These places have been there hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So they have these courtyards in the back, and we go into this one place, and they had a thing about shrimp. They had this shrimp special. So we're going in there, and they bring the shrimp, and the heads are on them, and all the. It's weird. If you haven't looked at shrimp in their natural form, when they brought it, I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with this? So it was like one of these all-you-can-eat things where you can have as much shrimp, but you had to work for it. You had to like peel them. It's not just like pinching the tail. You had to do the whole thing. So it was kind of weird, but I got past that. We're eating it. And my wife is sitting at this chair, and I see this black shadow behind her. And I'm like, what the heck? And I look, and it's like, it's a cat. I'm thinking it's a cat, right? So I'm looking a little bit more, and it's a rat.
Oh.
It's a rat the size of a cat.
Really?
Now, at first, your hair kind of cringes. This is a big rat. This rat had been around eating very well for a long time. So I'm thinking, this is all you can eat shrimp, or it's about 20 feet from my wife. I could say something, and then the dinner's over. But I was on plate number one. I was like, look, it's all you can eat shrimp.
I'm on Team Roy right now. I know where you're going, but you go.
It's all you can eat shrimp. I'm only on plate one. I am going, if it comes close, I'll say something. Otherwise, I'm just going to eat the shrimp, watch the rat move around, and do it. And I got through 3 plates of shrimp. And then at the very end, I said, hey, I gotta show you this. And I said,
I'm getting full.
Check this out. And it was huge. This thing was the size of a cat. So that's the jerk in me that if it's an all-you-can-eat place, you have to have there's no exit strategy. The exit strategy is when you're done eating, it's time to leave.
Thank you.
But if there's things going on and you haven't gotten your fill yet, you stay.
Yeah. Fight through the pain, Wilson. That's what he's saying.
In my defense, you kept ordering pancakes for the table and then pushing them my way.
Yeah, I did.
That's a lot to take down. I'll have the eggs and the sausage and the ham and the heavy carbs. Give them to that guy.
Yeah,
slow him down.
He's carbing up.
I'm the driver. I don't need any carbs. I'm fine.
He's going to swim in the Olympics later on today. He needs about 10,000 carbs. But no, in your story, I would have made up some kind of weird ritual where you throw a shrimp over somebody's shoulder just to get the rat to go chase something. And I would have said, so see, I really feel like you missed an opportunity to create a maybe like a new habit or a new ritual.
Yeah, but then the rat's
tradition.
coming back. He kept the rat at bay.
The rat seemed pretty happy with what it was doing, it was doing it.
Yeah, I'm back now.
It was the biggest. I was like shocked.
You thought it was a cat?
I thought it was a cat. It had to be like 20 pounds. It was huge.
Wow. You must be really enjoying these shrimp because your eyes have been wide this whole time. Oh yeah. No, these are magnificent.
I was doing my my husbandly duty. I was watching to make sure it wasn't coming our way. So if it would have started to wander away, it would have said something. But I was only one plate in, and this was going to continue.
Honey, can you pick the shrimp up off the table? That rat's about to climb up here.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get excited, but just don't move for 1 second. Okay, good.
If your purse feels heavy, it's because there's a 20-pound rat in it.
I want you to know I've always loved you, but I love all you can eat.
Just you and the
more.
missus. There was no kids there at that time.
No kids.
Okay, because I think I act a little differently too if it's not 2 adults there. I probably and for my kids' heads are on swivels.
You have a sub, Pina.
Yes, I do. Yeah,
just 2 adults. We know what's going on.
But no, I've never been put in a situation like someone's safety over me eating. So I still think I choose eating. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think that you were being a jerk there at all. So
no, you get laser focused. We found that out in the first episode where we were in a line for multiple things at a food truck.
Yeah.
And the guy asked for the thing that you weren't in line for, and you're like, "No, this is not the place."
Yeah, we were at a funnel cake line that had
the fried Oreos.
Deep
Damon
fried
was there
Oreos.
for the fried Oreos.
Never had deep fried Oreos, really.
So we're standing in line. This guy walks up and says, "Hey, is this the line for the funnel cake?" Damon turns to him as if this guy asked if he could take his wife away from him. And Damon's like, "No,
yeah,
this is not the line."
And I turn back, and Ted's like,
"Yeah,
no,
actually, it is.
This is the line. It says."
Yeah.
And I turn, I go, "What?" And he goes, "It says funnel cakes right there." I'm like, "No, it's deep fried Oreos." And I was in the zone. I didn't care.
Angry.
Don't talk to me. I'm focused. So, but no one's safety was at risk. You know what I mean? So I feel
well. They ran out of something. Had they run out of fried Oreos, people would have been in
someone's
trouble.
safety would have been at risk.
Yep.
Yeah, there would have been a safety
She's coming
issue.
down the line telling people that they don't have something, and Damon's like, "Oh, it better not be fried Oreos." And then she started talking, and she got one word out that indicated it was not fried Oreos.
Yeah.
Damon shut down. while the rest of the line was up in arms. He's like, oh, fine. Oreos will be up there.
So I got a question. Do you have a little more time to hang with us?
Oh, yeah.
Can we do some? We normally like to do some strange stories.
Hey, I got to interrupt. It's nap time. Roy, I appreciate you coming out. It was nice to have an actual professional in the studio because there aren't any here, myself included. I've been here since 5:30. I need a nap. Ted, how can they find the podcast?
You can find us at That Checks Out. You can find us all our socials at That Checks Out WDT, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Check us out. Send a thing. Leave a review, 5-star. Any kind of comment, any kind of interaction you give us, it helps us out. Also, don't forget to check out RoyGregory.com, RoyGregory.com, and ThatChecksOut.net because we couldn't get com. We suck.
Yeah.
Find us here next week.
It was a Czech company. It was a Czech company, bro.
Was it?
Yeah. I don't have that kind of bidding money.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I like how I learned about our business on air.
I took the
Super
$13.
professional.
I took the $13.net. Come on, brother.
You're getting some edits at the end of this, Brian.
And where's that, Ted?
At ThatChecksOut.net.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks, Roy.
Ryan, do you have, is there a volume thing on mine here?
Oh, he needs his cans turned up.
I got left and right here. Hang on. Maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a master and a fan.
Okay, good. Because, I've lost...
This is what oh my God.
I've lost some hearing here over the years.
I'm just excited to work with a professional for once because this guy will just scream at Brian. Brian, fix it. Brian, fix it. Brian, fix.
I can't hear my cans.
Brian, I can't fix it.
So, actually, Brian, I do need to be turned up some.
Oh my God. Oh, now you know that.
You specifically?
Yeah, me specifically, and I don't know how to do it on the knob. So, can you do that over
Yeah.
there?
You can only turn up every
I actually
wife
found left and right. You can go either way if your one ear is better than the other.
How do you know this? You've sat down like 12 seconds ago.
Well, I'm following the chord.